hey, you're in the studio with Project 2 from Studio X, and we're going to replicate a kick drum similar to how we did in the book. Probably not exactly the same though, because it's good to always break the rules and find an accidental sound that works really well, particularly for each song, because you want each song to be different. So all we're going to do is load a 3 oscillators plug-in, which is, we use that a lot throughout the book, as you know, because it's a simple plug-in. It's very, very simple. It's just got what most synths would normally have, particularly subtractive synthesizers. And with that, you can just do so much. With the basics of a synth, you can just get some really, really awesome results, because most of the results will come from your effects orderings and how you choose those orders, like getting one channel right and then getting a really nice preset under that, and then maybe moving it around, move your effects plugins up and down on your effects list. That's how you get really, really cool sounds as well. But anyway, for this sound, just going to activate one oscillator for this 3 oscillators plugin. So all we've got is one sine wave. As you can hear there, it's pretty boring, pretty simple, but that's what you want for the base of your synth sound. For your synth kick, you want a low sub end. So what we're going to do to that sine wave that we've just picked is we're going to pitch it down 2 octaves really, really quickly. So the second I hit that MIDI note, it's going to just pitch down, and what we're going to do is we're going to make an envelope on the pitch envelope shape. So all we've got here is normal. The attacks move forward about that much, just enough so that it pitches down really, really quickly, and then the decay, the sustain, the release all stay continuous. So the second this sine wave is played, it's going to pitch down and then just stay down. So as you notice now, when I do this, pitches down, it's really fast, it's got that punch to the beginning of it, and it's staying there, it's not shifting in key. So we'll put down a few MIDI notes. Sounds nice in the key of A. I like kicks in the key of A actually, they sound really nice. A and E is really, really good for kicks. The E gets a really, really low sort of sub going, but that's really good for all kinds of music, particularly drum and bass. I like the low subs, but just for now we'll make a common club sort of anthem kick, because that's the popular one that's actually quite difficult at first to replicate, particularly using cheap software or easy software or basic plugins. But in this case, we're just going to lay down some MIDI notes. So all we've got there for our first synth is just a looping in the key of A, just the sub end of our kick. Now what we need for a kick drum is a top end, which needs that crack, that punch to the beginning of it. And that comes from another synthesizer. So all we're going to do is load another 3 oscillators plug-in, and this time all we're going to choose is one oscillator again, a white noise. So oscillator 2 is just a white noise. So as you hear it, that's all it is. Now what we want to do, similar to the pitch envelope we created on the low end of our kick, on the top end of our kick we're going to create basically the same envelope, but only to the filter, not to the pitch, because the pitch is irrelevant with a white noise. I'm not planning on tuning this or putting any resonance into it. We're just going to leave it simple, and the cutoff envelope is just going to be the same, just a really quick down. So move the attack forward like that, so it's bent up, and then move the decay, the sustain, and the release all the way to the end, so that it just cuts down and stays down. And then what we're going to do is we're going to activate a filter. It's just a simple low pass. We'll put down some MIDI notes. Put it in A as well. I'm putting it in the same key, but it doesn't really matter for this top part. Now that's already giving, there's a bit of a punch, but we're going to take away some of that punch at the beginning of it. Maybe remove some of the filter as well, pull some of the cutoff back. See it, put a little bit of resonance into it. We're getting that punch happening, that nice little club kind of influence on the beginning of it, because a lot of sampled kick drums and stuff that sound really good, the ones you get in the sample banks that sound really fat and that, have usually been extracted from someone else's music, from like a sample from a loop, and they usually contain like a portion of a cymbal or a portion of a hi-hat or whatever at the start of them, that gives it that really nice live element. It sounds used, it sounds worked, and that's what we're going to achieve by putting in that white noise. And already starting to get a pretty cool kick drum sound. So what we're going to do is going to run both those plugins into the same effects channel. So we're just going to run them into FX1, and then from there we're going to load a compressor. Now compressors are great for kicks. They really thicken, put that extra punch to the beginning of it, and they hold that thickness, particularly once you put the attack up. So we're going to put down the level, because when we put the attack forward, it's going to jump up in level, and instantly there we're getting a really nice kick drum sound. And we haven't actually done that much really. And to the next part of the list, underneath the compressor, You can have it before the compressor. It doesn't really matter with EQs, depending. But with this, in this case, we just got a simple 7-band equalizer that I'm going to run after the compressor on the effects chain. I'm just going to play with some of those EQs until we find a nice setting that works really well. So we'll move some of the mid ones around. Already we're getting a nice thump. Maybe go to 54 up here, pull that up. 5 kilohertz, 5.6, 6.2, that sounds really nice. Maybe move some of the 8 kilohertz up, that's that really top end 8 kilohertz, real sharp up there. Move some of that up. That's pretty nice, it's got a nice sound to it already, it's got a nice punch. And that's what it's about, that's where you develop your kick drum sound right here, is your own personal preference, like how, but particularly you do that in the mix of your song because you'll have lots of other sounds going, and that's how you make it fit. You listen to it and you go, yeah, how does that sound in the mix? That sounds nice and punchy, or it's a bit too top endy, because it depends on what other noises you're using. If this was in, you know, a usual club kind of dance anthem right there, you could easily just tweak that and make it sit however you want to sit. And you know, even move it around in key, like move the key of your kick drum to match your bass line or whatever. Now that you've got a synth kick, with a synth kick, is you can move that key and it won't sound bad. The kick drum will actually sound nice when you move it around, whereas a lot of samples, when you move the kick around pitch-wise, it can actually sound like very cut off or a bit weak in areas, whereas with the synthesizer, you move it around to up 3 keys to the key of C and it's still really punchy. You know, move it up again to D, there's another 2 keys, move it up to D, still nice and punchy, you know, drop down really low to E, so you get the real thumpy sub kick there. That's where you come back to the EQ as well. You maybe knock back some of the sub, maybe influence more on the mid, like give it a really nice punch in the center of the mix. But that all comes down to personal preference as well.